There's an unwritten rule book, isn't there? No one ever wrote it, but somehow we all learned how to read it. And somewhere in that book, there's a chapter labeled Women Over 60. It says, no short dresses. And definitely, no open backs. But what if the most freeing thing we could ever do is to close that book once and for all? I've seen so many fashion videos lately, showing how to style a daring outfit with grace, how to make it look elegant and age-appropriate. And that's wonderful. But they all seem to skip the most important question. Not how to wear it, but how to find the courage to wear it in the first place. That's what this video is about. This isn't a lesson about fashion rules. It's a declaration that confidence doesn't expire and beauty doesn't retire. So let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself. Have you ever stood in front of the mirror, holding a dress that made your heart skip a beat, but then put it back because a voice inside whispered, "I'm too old for this"? If that's ever happened to you, tell me in the comments. Because I promise you, you're not alone. Before we talk about hemlines or fabrics or fashion tips, let's start with something far more important. The mindset behind every outfit we wear. The one thing that can change everything. Before we talk about short dresses or open backs or anything bold like that, I want us to talk about something far more important. What's going on inside our minds? Most of us have spent a lifetime dressing for a reason. For work, to look professional. For family gatherings, to look appropriate. For special occasions, so we don't stand out too much. Always a rule, always an expectation. But at this stage of life, this beautiful, freeing stage, it's time for a new rule. Just one. Does this outfit bring me joy? Not. Is it age appropriate? Not. What will people think? Just does it make my heart smile? That's what I call personal joy. A few years ago, I saw a short red open-back silk dress in a boutique window. It was stunning, playful yet elegant. My first thought was, oh, that's gorgeous. And then, almost instantly, another voice whispered, too short, too bold, too much. For a moment, I almost listened. But then I thought, why not? Why should I walk away from something that makes me feel alive? Why should I hide the back that has carried me through decades of life? Through laughter, through loss, through everything. So, I bought the dress. And the first time I wore it out, I didn't just feel beautiful, I felt brave. And more than that, I felt free. Free from the unspoken rules, free from the judgment I was so used to placing on myself. That day, I realized something powerful. Freedom doesn't always look like a grand gesture. Sometimes it's as simple as putting on a dress that makes you feel like you again. Here's the interesting thing. Science actually agrees with that feeling. There's a concept called dopamine dressing. It means that wearing colors, fabrics, and styles that bring you joy can literally boost your mood by releasing dopamine, the happy hormone. A study in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that about 85% of women feel more confident and happier when they wear something they genuinely love, no matter what the fashion rules say. 85%. That's not just a number. That's proof that joy and freedom look good on everyone. So next time you stand in front of the mirror, don't ask, "Can I still wear this?" Ask instead, "Does this make me feel joyful, confident, and alive?" If the answer is yes, that's all the permission you need. Now, let me ask you something. Is there a piece in your closet? Maybe a bold dress, or a bright top, or those shoes that make you feel 10 years younger, that you've been saving for the right time. Well, this is it. This is the time. Tell me in the comments. What's your red dress? What's that one piece in your wardrobe that represents freedom, courage, and a little sparkle of rebellion to you? And once we embrace that joy and freedom from the inside, once we let go of the old rules and start dressing for ourselves, then comes the fun part. Figuring out the little tips and tricks that help us feel comfortable and confident on the outside too. Let's talk about our secret weapons. The little things that make wearing that short open back dress not just possible, but absolutely radiant. All right, my friends, we've done the inner work. We've given ourselves permission to wear what makes us happy. But then, that little voice of reason always shows up, doesn't it? It starts asking questions like, but what about my back? What about my legs? What about what's underneath? And that's when we reach for what I like to call our secret weapons. They're not here to hide us. They're here to help us shine, gracefully, confidently, and on our own terms. The art of the open back. Let's start with the back. That beautiful part of us that's carried so many years, so many hugs, so much life. It's natural for skin to change over time. Maybe it's not as firm. Maybe there are little spots or lines. That's just the map of everything we've lived through. We don't need to erase it. We just need to let it glow. One of my favorite tricks, a little shimmer body lotion. Not glitter. No disco ball, I promise. Think of the soft, luminous glow of a pearl. When you smooth a bit on your shoulders and back, it catches the light in the most beautiful, natural way. It doesn't cover, it celebrates. And if you want to stand taller, try this. A few minutes a day of gentle posture exercises. Rowing with a light resistance band, shoulder rolls, a simple cobra stretch. The Mayo Clinic shared that even 10 minutes of daily movement can noticeably improve posture and upper back strength in just 6 weeks. And here's what that really means. Better posture doesn't just make you look taller. It makes you feel prouder. I started doing a few light stretches every morning and using a pearl-toned lotion after my shower. After a few weeks, I stopped noticing the little lines on my back. I just saw light, confidence, and a version of myself that felt alive again. Now tell me, have you ever skipped an open back dress because of a few age marks or spots? What if instead of covering them, you simply let them shine? The silent partner, lingerie. Now, let's talk about something we almost never do. What's underneath? Because confidence really does start with that very first layer. For years, I thought lingerie didn't matter anymore. Then I realized it matters because it's for me. Today, we have incredible options made for our stage of life. Comfortable, supportive, elegant. Stick-on bras have come a long way. Lightweight, breathable, and gently supportive without straps. Nipple covers are perfect when you just need a little coverage, nothing more. And my personal favorite, the low back converter. It's a tiny elastic strap that attaches to your regular bra, wraps around the waist, and lowers the back band out of sight. It's such a small thing, but it changes everything. A recent ARP survey found that nearly 70% of women over 55 said they felt instantly more confident when they updated their lingerie to fit who they are now, not who they were 20 years ago. And honestly, I believe it. The moment I found a low back bra that actually fit, I stopped worrying about the dress. Suddenly, That open back didn't feel intimidating anymore. It felt liberating. So I'm curious, do you have a favorite brand or a little trick that helps you feel more comfortable in tricky outfits? Share it in the comments. Let's build a collection of secrets we can all use. Redefining short and the power of pantyhose. Now, let's talk about the other half of this bold look, the short dress. First, let's redefine that word, shall we? Short doesn't have to mean a miniskirt. For us, it can be a hemline that falls just above the knee, long enough to stay elegant, but short enough to feel light, playful, and a little bit daring. According to a 2023 fashion report, knee-length dresses for women over 55 are up 30% in sales. A quiet reminder that style has no expiration date. And yes, I know what's coming next. The legs. Maybe you've got a few veins, or freckles, or uneven tone. We all do. That's where one of the most underrated tools in our wardrobe comes in. Pantyhose. Forget everything you remember from decades ago. Pantyhose are back. Not as something to hide behind, but as a way to enhance. Vogue recently called them the invisible finish. A timeless accessory that smooths, polishes, and completes an outfit. Think of them as a real-life photo filter for your legs. Soft, subtle, elegant. A sheer pair in a natural shade can blur imperfections and add a touch of confidence. When I tried a modern pair for the first time, sheer, silky, almost invisible, I laughed. My legs looked smoother, but still like mine. And that's the point. Pantyhose aren't about pretending. They're about presenting. Showing up fully, proudly, beautifully. Do you still have a pair tucked away somewhere? When was the last time you wore them? Maybe it's time to bring them back. On your own terms. Moving forward. So here we are. We've worked on the mindset, and now we've gathered our secret weapons. We've taken care of the back, the lingerie, the legs, all the little details that once made us hesitate. Now the practical part is done. What's left is the most important piece of all, how we see ourselves. Because when every part of us is honored, from our heart to our posture, from our skin to our smile, that's when real beauty starts to shine. So, we've got the mindset, we've got the tools. Now it's time for the most important part, how we see ourselves. For years, fashion magazines and so-called experts have taught us a very specific language. They said, if you're pear-shaped, wear a flared skirt to balance your hips. If you're apple-shaped, wear something loose to hide your tummy. If you're rectangular, cinch your waist to create an illusion of curves. Balance, hide. Create an illusion. Do you hear it? Every one of those phrases quietly suggests that something about us needs to be fixed. But my friends, there is nothing that needs fixing. Your body is not a problem to solve. It's a story to be told. Every line, every curve, every mark, they are chapters of a life well lived. Speaking a new language. So here's what I propose. Let's erase that old vocabulary from our fashion dictionary and start speaking a new one. The language of celebration. Instead of saying, this skirt balances my hips, try saying, I chose this skirt because it celebrates my curves and moves beautifully when I walk. Instead of, this dress hides my belly, say, I wear this dress because it makes me feel free, comfortable, and elegant, like I can breathe and live in it. Instead of, I'm cinching my waist to create shape, Say, I'm defining my waist because it makes me feel strong and feminine. See the difference? It shifts from trying to change ourselves into simply expressing ourselves, from correction to celebration. A study in the Psychology of Fashion journal found that over 80% of women over 55 felt more confident when they described their bodies using positive language, rather than words focused on hiding or correcting. That's not just linguistics. That's emotional freedom. The Story You Wear fashion and designer Diane von Furstenberg once said, "The most important thing in a dress is the woman who's wearing it." And she's right. It's not the dress that makes you beautiful. It's you, your confidence, your story, your lived experience. That brings the dress to life. Our bodies at this age aren't something to manage. They're living art. Every wrinkle, every scar, every soft curve. That's the autobiography of your resilience. Why on earth would we want to hide it? A personal moment. I used to be self-conscious about my shoulders. I thought they looked too broad, too strong. For years, I wore sleeves to cover them up. Then, one summer, I tried on a halter dress. Something that showed my shoulders completely. And instead of feeling exposed, I felt powerful. I realized these shoulders have carried a lifetime. Children, work, joy, loss, love. They've held me up when nothing else could. They deserve the sun. That was the day I stopped hiding and started honoring. The power of self-compassion. There's a term in psychology called self-compassion. The ability to treat yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a dear friend, doctor. Kristen Neff's research at the University of Texas shows that women who practice self-compassion report 40% higher body satisfaction than those who constantly compare themselves to others. In other words, when you stop judging yourself, you start glowing. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. Your body today is not the after photo of anything. It's the masterpiece of a life fully lived. Let's reflect. So I want to ask you, is there a part of your body you once tried to hide, but are now learning to love? Maybe your arms, your legs, your smile. If you could say one thing to your body right now, what would it be? Share it in the comments. Because when you speak love into yourself, you give every other woman permission to do the same. A gentle realization. When we change our language, we change our perspective. And when we change our perspective, we change everything. Wearing a short, open-back dress stops being an act of rebellion and becomes a declaration of freedom, of joy, of self-respect. And that, my friends, might just be the greatest secret of them all. In the end, a short dress or an open back, even a pair of pantyhose, they're just pieces of fabric. The real power isn't in the clothes. It's in the woman who chooses to wear them. Confidence doesn't live in your closet. It lives right here, in your heart. So, next time you stand in front of something that feels too bold, don't ask, "Can I pull this off?" Ask instead, "Does it bring me joy?" If the answer is yes, that's all the permission you'll ever need. And if this message touched something inside you, if you too believe that style has no age, I'd love for you to join our little circle here. Tap that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with a friend. Maybe someone who's been waiting to hear the same words you just did. Before you go, I'd love to know, what's one unwritten fashion rule you're ready to break next? Tell me in the comments. I promise, I read everyone. Thank you for being here with me. You are radiant. You are powerful. and you are worthy of being seen. I'll see you in the next chapter of our journey, because your story, my friend, is far from over.